Good day, everybody.
Good day, everybody. Welcome to big episode 24 of the Good Day podcast, where Maxi and I talk about our adventures down under.
Why is 24 a big episode?
24 is the best number in the universe. That's it.
Kory's whole entire family's favorite number is 24.
Yes, so that's why this is the best episode, and it starts us at the Yungabera markets.
So the last day of our, kind of the last day of our house sit,
Yeah.
there was these markets in a town nearby called Yungabera, and the homeowners told us to go to it. They were like, oh, this is on the day we come back. So we were like, okay, I guess we have to go there. We didn't do much adventuring while dog sitting there. We got to chill for 2 weeks, but we did go out to these markets, and they were the best markets ever.
Oh, phenomenal. It was just had like so much unique, high quality stuff, and just like a lot of local people going to the markets. They weren't like touristy cheap stuff. It was like a good farmer's market.
Yeah, the opposite of what you would find at a market in Bali. Like, this was quality stuff from craftsmen and craftswomen.
Yeah, it
And
was all good
a lot
stuff,
of spiritual
too.
things. It was like plants, crystals, woodworking.
There was two people selling different kinds of mushrooms.
Oh yeah, so many mushrooms.
Mushroom people, yeah.
And then there was this one lady that just kept following us from stall to stall.
Yeah, every stall we would be at, this lady would be like, oh, you gotta buy these mushrooms if you're talking to this guy.
Yeah, she was like pushing us to buy things.
I don't know, she could have been a plant from somewhere to try and sell things for different vendors, but it was funny to see her at a bunch of different stalls. What was your favorite stall?
Well, I was just gonna say, I poked my head into this hair cutting stall because I was like, oh, maybe I'll get a haircut. Who knows? I poked my head in, and the lady that kept following us was sitting there getting a haircut. But my favorite stall, I think, was the organite stall, where I bought an organite necklace to protect from EMF waves and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think my favorite stall was the second mushroom person that we talked to that I almost bought some mushrooms from. And the magic mushroom kind, if you guys know what I'm talking about.
But he did not. He's afraid. But anyways.
Yeah, it was a great market. We enjoyed it. But that's, the homeowners or the landlords were coming home later that day. And I hadn't finished Lord of the Rings yet. So I had to put in my hours and finish. I have now watched all of the extended editions of Lord of the Rings. That's checked off the bucket list. Can't wait to watch them next time.
Yeah, good for you, Kory. That was a lot of time put in.
Yes, and the return of the king also brought the return of the landlords.
Yeah, I think you finished like 10 minutes before they got back.
So like really soon before they got back. Luckily we had the house all cleaned up and ready to go. Well, first they didn't even really tell us that they were coming home a day early, because the house sit was for a specific period of 2 weeks.
Yep, like all finalized on the website and everything.
Yeah, they didn't leave for 2 days after
Yep.
it started.
They asked us to come a day early, which they already had it scheduled a whole day earlier than
the day they were leaving.
Yeah, so we spent 2 nights with them before they even left, which was very unusual. And then we didn't know that they were coming back a day early, except for that one comment that I already said earlier in this podcast, where they said, oh, the markets are on Saturday, the day we come back. So Kory and I kept saying to each other, are they coming back on Saturday? Like the whole time.
Yeah.
And then finally she texted me at nighttime on Friday, and she said, we'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah, like, we're fine.
But we were scheduled to be there till Sunday, so we got the memo that they wanted us to stay in the house with them again a third night.
Yeah. Like, we're fine. This was definitely the sit that we spent the most amount of time with the homeowners than any other sit combined, probably.
Yep.
We spent hours with these guys. And, like, I'm fine. Like, it was fun. It was good. But,
they're
like,
great people.
Really nice people. But they should just be a little more open and upfront about it. Say, like, this isn't a 2-week house sit. This is actually only, like, a 12-day, 12-night house sit.
Yeah, and they should be like, we like to get to know our house sitters on a personal level, if you guys are cool with that.
Yeah, just come early and we'll have dinner one night and just explain the situation a little better, and don't leave us like...
We were seriously trying to piece together the situation ourselves, like, from context clues.
Yeah.
But they were very nice. Like, I think that we'd be friends with them. It was just like, one of those things where it's an unpaid give and take of both parties, and
Yeah,
it's just like kind of awkward to spend too much time together. Oh, and we spent time with their friends, so they took a road trip with their
two friends,
yeah, another
Australian friends.
couple. So they got back exactly around 3 p.m. on Saturday, and we had spent every minute with them until 10:45 p.m. from the time they got back.
Yeah, so it's just like a lot of chilling with just like strangers that you know how much small talk could you really make? But I think that's just what Australians love to do is sit and do nothing and talk. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Although these homeowners were British, but their friends were Australian. Which
yes,
their friends were amazing. Like, I loved the friends as well. But
yeah.
it's
I'm
just like,
I'm happy there was four of us or like another set of people out there, so it wasn't just like a one-on-one with us and the
yeah,
parents.
that
So
was actually pretty good.
yeah, it was good to have a group there, and it was fun. And oh, for some reason during dinner, they were asking us like what our plans were, and I just wasn't really being too specific because I don't know, some people judge you on what you want to do or what you don't want to do. And so I was like, oh yeah, we might try and make it up to the top, or like definitely gonna go up to Cape Tribulation and the Bloomfield Track, which is things that are north, and the tip is the northernmost point of Australia.
That's where they had just come from.
Yeah, so they just did this trip in 11 days or 11 nights,
Yeah,
something like
11
that.
nights, I think.
And one of the guys, the Rob guy, homeowner, was like, "Oh yeah, you'll probably not have enough time for that. Maybe after your stay in Magnetic Island, like you'll be able to get to go up there." But we have more time in between the end of this sit and the start of the next sit than they had on their whole 2 week trip. Or
Yeah, he had said it before they even left on their trip. He was like, "You won't have enough time to go up to the top. Don't even think about it." He basically, that was his vibe.
yeah,
He's so nice, but he still was like, "You can't go to the top." And so I think that's why Kory wasn't being too specific on their return. He wasn't saying, like, "Yeah, we just planned our whole road trip out to go to the top," when we literally had the whole trip Kory planned it.
yeah,
Um, and so Kory was like, "Oh, I think we have 17 nights in between this house set and the next one."
so
And
much longer than they did.
and
Yeah,
he still doubled down and he was like, "Oh, well, you won't have enough time to go to the top. So after your 7 week stay on Magnetic Island, you could double back up to the north and then go to the tip after your 7 week stay in Magnetic Island." And Kory was like, "All right." And we just
yeah.
kind of moved on. And I don't know why he kept insisting that we didn't have enough time. I think almost that he didn't want us.
To just do the same exact trip with very little planning.
Yeah, he must be like a type A planner. I'm taking it that like he must have spent months. Because they said that they haven't traveled in like 4 years since COVID, and this was like their first big trip, and they're so excited. So I figure he spent months planning this out, and then here Kory and I are flying by the seat of our pants.
Yeah, well, yeah, let's just send it up there, I guess.
Yeah, and like it all works out for us. It's not that hard to plan. Like Australia is not that there's not much to see because everything's so spread out.
Yeah.
You know what the stops are and you stop there with everyone else on the same exact road trip. So I figure he was like, "Kory and Maxi can't just fly by the seat of their pants and go and do the same trip I spent months planning. There's no way. They'll have to sit for 7 weeks on Magnetic Island planning this out to make it
Yeah.
fair that I spent months planning it." So he kept insisting that we didn't have enough time when we do.
I know, that was a bit odd. And another odd thing was so the next morning, so we stayed over that night. The next morning, they like just feeding people when you're not in the house is just such an awkward thing. Like,
They didn't offer us breakfast the first 2 mornings we had with them, so this was the first breakfast when they
yeah.
were back. So we
So
just assumed.
we were a little more confident. We're like, all right, we're just gonna do our own thing for breakfast. Um, and so we just had like a small bowl of cereal, and then we are gonna head out after that. And what happened?
This was the one day that they decided to cook breakfast for everyone. Mind you, their friends Lyle and Kathy were there the day that they left for the trip. They woke up same as us in the house. We all woke up together, and they did not offer anyone breakfast. Same group of people were there on the day we left the house set, and they decided to cook breakfast, but just for them and Lyle and Kathy, because two
Yeah.
minutes before they started cooking breakfast, Kory took the cereal out of the cabinet. They're staring jaws to the floor at how he had Cocoa
Pops.
Krispies and Cocoa Pops and they just like thought it was the most
Funniest thing ever.
Yeah, they actually had their jaws on the floor. Like I thought that they were staring at something beyond Kory, because Lyle had walked in with a box, and I thought we were staring at Lyle, and then I realized they were staring at Kory's cereal.
I don't know why it's just cereal.
I don't understand. Gluten-free, dairy-free, mind you.
Mm.
And so, anyways, Kory and I we each had a small bowl of cereal, and they did not say, like, oh, we're about to start cooking bacon and eggs. They never mentioned it, and I guess they figured because we pour these small bowls of cereal for ourselves that we weren't going to be included in the group breakfast. We had a group dinner the night before, but, they all sat at the dinner table or the dining table.
And had their classic English bacon, beans, and egg breakfast, and then they did not stop bragging about how good it was in front of us.
Yeah, they kept saying, what a good idea, bacon and eggs, what a good idea. This was my idea, and Rob also thought it was a good idea. Rob, isn't this a great idea? Lyle and Kathy,
how
did you
brilliant
think...
is bacon and eggs,
Bacon
guys?
and eggs, bacon and eggs.
Come on.
And we didn't get offered anything. They didn't even acknowledge, like, oh, are you still hungry? It was just so awkward. It's not how I would be if someone was inside my house, basically.
Yeah, the feeding was definitely an interesting aspect. That was just never. It's like you never feel comfortable when you're just doing something in someone else's house. But I don't know. Maybe we'll be more comfortable with it in the future now that we've had this experience, and just be like, oh no, we're eating what we want to eat.
Yeah, still so awkward. You want to be respectful. It's their domain.
Yeah, exactly. And I had to get one last ride in before we left. It was a lot of fun. Yes.
Okay.
I'm being hesitant in my answering of this question because
No one asked you a question.
I have a little bit of a tumble on my bike, and my thumb hurts now. It's fine. I'm okay. But I did have a pretty big crash. The bike's fine, which is the majority of the thing, but we were deciding whether we wanted to go for a bike or go to Port Douglas, and I was selfishly chose go for a bike, which was clearly the wrong decision. But now we live and we learn.
Glad you're feeling better, Kory.
Thanks.
So then on the way to Port Douglas, we stopped by the mango wine tasting place and did a free wine tasting. And we tried the dry and medium mango wines.
And a bubbly.
And a bubbly. They also had like mango cellos and that kind of thing, but we weren't feeling tasting all the things.
Yeah, weren't we like talking about when we were still in the States, we were like, oh, mango wine's a new fad, it's in, or something like that.
I don't remember that.
Or it was like when we were at, I don't know, but the mango wines here were really delicious.
Yeah, so good. I'm excited to have some of that because we bought one or two. And yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, and then we got to Port Douglas. It's like just so windy here right now for some reason. Port Douglas was nice though. We strolled around town, and it was probably I liked it better than Cairns for sure. It was like a cool small town.
Yeah, really classy.
Yeah, nice shops, cool bookstores.
Like a classy Florida town.
With the entrance of the town, some guy planted palm trees for like 5 miles. So there's just palm trees lining the road into the town for the 5 miles into the town, which was really cool to see.
Yeah, picture like grand royal palm trees.
Yeah, it was nice. I think it was a really cool town. I think we should go back there on the way back down just to hang out there a little longer.
Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah.
And the homeowners were raving about Port Douglas, so we were like, yeah, this is gonna be awesome. But we ended up, we did like a little happy hour at the Tin Shed, which was a cool restaurant, but it was only snack time, so.
Yeah, we couldn't get the croc.
It was in between
the croc
lunch
tacos.
and dinner.
Everything's crocodile up here. That was the first warning sign. It had croc tacos there.
Yeah.
But it was cool. It was like this very rustic marina, non-profit too. I don't know what their proceeds go to, but
What, the marina?
Yeah, the marine, the Tin Shed place. It was all a non-profit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the whole thing, and it was like this big old bar. I had 2 levels to it, and it overlooked the marina.
Yeah, it was really the vibe. And then we stayed in Wanga Beach, which was really cool. It was basically like the rainforest, palm trees all lining the beach. We've all been on beaches with palm trees lining it, but this was like
Straight
thick,
jungle. Yeah.
thick jungle palm tree lining. It was really beautiful.
Yeah, that's kind of the premise of this whole area is where the rainforest meets the beach. And the next place that we were heading was Daintree, which is supposedly the oldest rainforest in the world. And we were talking, like, how do you determine the age of a rainforest? Like, is there some old tree? I don't think there's any tree that's 265 million years old. But yeah, like when does a rainforest start? When, like, how, what makes a rainforest a rainforest? So these are all questions that are going through our heads while we're driving up this beautiful coast of, but sadly can't swim because of Crocs.
Yeah, and we happened to see a couple big boys.
Oh yeah, we saw our first Croc sighting when we were in Daintree.
Well, first saltwater
Saltwater
crocodile,
croc,
much more aggressive and bigger and vicious.
nastier, yeah. So we saw him. Well, actually, we were just walking around, and I saw two people, or one guy, just looking at my bike, and then we walked down. And obviously, if he's staring at a bike, he's a biker. So I wanted to go up and talk to him or whatever. And they were walking down to the marina at the Daintree Village to just, I don't know, just walk around, and I wanted to check it out too. And instantly, he spots a croc across the bay, and he was nice enough to airdrop us the photos of it.
Yeah, it was big.
Yeah, he was from Ireland. I forget where he said in Ireland, but his girlfriend was from Dublin. He was from
Yeah,
the south.
they were super nice. I remember his name was Barry, but I don't know hers. Sarah or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then we saw more crocodiles on our way to the ferry. We
Mhm.
just see them along the river as we were driving.
Yeah, and the homeowners who we just did the same trip, they're like, "Oh, we might have saw one croc. Like the ladies think they saw one floating down." And we just saw like five, like
On day one.
on day one. We saw so many in Daintree and around the area, and yeah, it was really cool. There was a ferry that you had to cross. This whole area in the winter, or in their summer, our winter, is just all flooded. So I just can't
Monsoon season.
cannot imagine what this area would look like with all that water coming through it. But the ferry crossing was cool. It was different from all ferries because it had a cable. So it was just attached to a cable, and it would go back and forth on the cable. Makes the captain's job pretty easy. Just have to hit forward and back. You don't have to steer at all.
Yeah, that was cool. And then we made our way to Cape Tribulation. That's where two World Heritage sites meet. The only place in the world. The Daintree Rainforest and the Great Barrier Reef.
Yeah, they call it Cape Tribulation is because this whole area is based around Captain Cook when he did his voyages to Australia in 1770. And what happened was he hit a reef, one of the coral reefs, and was started taking on water right outside of Cape Tribulation. And then about 100 kilometers up the coast was Cooktown, where he landed and stayed for 6 weeks to repair his ship. But he called it Cape Tribulation because that's where all of his problems started, around there.
Yeah, so that was a cool area. We did some
A lot of
rainforest
walks.
walks. We ended up going into this little store and we asked a lady if she's seen a cassowary.
Yeah.
And how did she react?
Well, first I wanted to make some small talk just because we weren't going to buy anything in the store, and I don't know, just make a little small talk. And I was like, "Oh, have you seen any cassowaries around? Like, have they been coming through here lately?" And she's like, "Oh, I see heaps of them
Yeah, she was like, all the time.
all the time." And then I think Maxi, you asked like, "Oh, when's the best time to see them?"
Yeah, because a lot of Australian animals come out at sunrise and sunset, like the platypus or a lot of the kangaroos and things like that. So that's usually the general rule of thumb is if you want to see one of these special animals, get up at sunrise or sunset.
Yeah, and she was like, "Well,
She goes, doesn't work like that. No, doesn't work like that.
just go outside."
Yeah.
She's like, "Just go outside, you'll see them. Like you get lucky. Sometimes you don't. You just got to keep your eyes open."
Yeah.
Just like Yeah, we obviously know where to see them outside, but we were asking if there's a good time to see them, lady.
Yeah, she was pretty rough around the edges, but still nice.
Yeah, rough around the edges. Maybe she was mad we didn't use her swimming hole.
Yeah, there's a swimming hole on
It
the
was pretty
store property.
grody and cold.
Yeah, so, anyways,
So if you want to see a cassowary, just go outside,
just
I
go
guess.
outside.
Yeah, and you'll find one.
And so we did some reinforced walks to find one. We haven't found one yet, but we will.
Yeah, hopefully we will see one. I see a little chicken outside of, two little chickens outside of our car window right now. 3 chickens! Oh my gosh. Well, they're not chickens, they're just like little birds. But back
Anyways,
to it.
so we stayed at the Camp Tribulation campsite, and there was this big river walk. Well, it was kind of hard to find the walk,
Yeah.
but we found it. And we found a croc. Well, someone else found a croc, and we saw it.
Yeah, and this one we were probably closest to it. Oh, but I didn't like. Sometimes they're really hard to see when they're in the
Underwater.
water, and they just look like logs. Wow, that's a big camper bus that doesn't look like it belongs on these roads. Sorry for my distraction, everybody. Yeah, it just doesn't look like it belongs on the roads here.
Okay. Anyways, so yeah, we saw a croc swim down the river, and it was a really, really, really pretty river area.
Maxie was like, I would love to put a house here, and then later on,
If it didn't monsoon, I said.
yeah, if it didn't monsoon, this would be a beautiful spot. And then I look on the map, and the other side of the river, there was a house there.
Maybe I'll buy it.
Yeah. But all these houses out here, I could not imagine. Again, the monsoon season here is probably so terrible.
Yeah, terrifying.
And, like, evidence of that was our drive later that day. So there's a track, an off-roading track called the Bloomfield track that connects, like, Cooktown and Cape Tribulation. If you don't want to take this track, you have to go across the ferry all the way around. And it's only about 40 kilometers long. So I was excited to hit it, check it out, and see what it was, like. And most of it was like washed away. There was so much construction going on just because there were so many landslides and stuff. But the track was so easy. Like,
Oh, it was so fun. I loved the ups and downs and the steeps and
yeah, it was like the most fun part. Well, I looked online and it was like, oh, be prepared for river crossings, be prepared for steep inclines and like windy descents. I mean, our drive today was harder than the Bloomfield track.
yeah, no, it was fun.
But they had like a 31-degree climb. Like, I don't know what that means, 31 degrees, but it was definitely one of the steepest roads I've ever been on.
I was in the passenger seat, so I enjoyed it. I don't know if it was harder to be the driver.
It was pretty easy, but it was just like, what? This is crazy. Like, this road is nuts.
And we were following this map where it had a bunch of like things to do, and we were gonna stop at a bunch of them. And along this Bloomfield track and before and after, it must be from the flooding, there were no signs for any of these stops. There weren't even real like turn-offs or anything.
There's nothing. So there was probably a half a dozen attractions along the track.
We missed all of them.
We didn't see a single sign for any of them. There was not a single pull-off for any of them.
Yeah.
It was just nothing. So we thought that they must have gotten wiped away in the storms of the winter.
The summer.
The summer, yeah.
Yeah, so crazy. Anyways, we made our way to the lion's den, which the homeowners, the dog owners, they were like, you better stop at the lion's den. You gotta write your name on the walls.
They didn't even write their names on the wall.
Yeah, it turns out they didn't even do that. But, so we went.
It's just an outback bush pub, like, that is just there for some reason because there's nothing else around. So someone was like, yeah, let's put a pub here. It'll do well. And it's popping. I mean, there was... The food I had, the barramundi, was pretty good. I had there. We both had it.
Yeah, we both had barramundi. Kory loves to say barramundi.
Barramundi.
I don't know why he says it like that. Lyle corrected him, barramundi, and he just insists on saying, "Can we have 2 orders of the barramundi?"
It's
It's
fine.
it's okay. It's just an alternate pronunciation, I guess.
It ends in I, so I say I.
If
it ended in Y, I'd say barramundi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you call me Maxi?
Maxi, yeah. All the time.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good one. You got me there. But the Lion's Den, was just like this pub that had everyone. It's like a thing to write your names on the wall. So we got up there and wrote Kory and Maxi, July 2024. We were here.
USA, baby.
Mm-hmm. Got our names marked down and then continued onward towards Cooktown. What was your initial impressions of Cooktown?
My initial impression was it was really, 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 really pretty with the bay, with the shallow and deep water kind of alternating in the bay with a bunch of boats moored
Sandbar shoals. Yeah.
and like a very green mountain on the other side of the bay. It was just very pretty. It was just too windy.
Oh, the wind was relentless. It blew my hat off.
Yeah.
A couple times, but we went up and checked out the iconic lighthouse that was there, and it was even more windy at the top of the hill.
On the grassy knoll.
The grassy hill, the grassy knoll, yes.
Oh yeah, we had to walk up the steepest hill to get to this lighthouse from the
I
parking
know.
lot.
But we should have just parked up at top. Like all the Australians hate walking, so they just make parking lots right next to the attraction.
Yeah, but this one didn't have a real parking lot next to it, but all of those people did park there.
Yeah. They park there, they take their pictures there, and then they continue on. It was like, what was the history of it? They like said this is for Captain Cook. This lighthouse is for Captain Cook, and it wasn't really that impressive of a lighthouse.
Yeah, it was small, and they said this lighthouse is so amazing. Even Captain Cook would have chosen it himself to immortalize himself here. And it was not impressive.
I don't think
this
so.
man that named everything after himself would not have chosen this basic lighthouse. He would have chose something very grand. Anyways, great view of the really pretty bay. No, I really liked that bay. I wish it wasn't windy because we would have taken like a walk around that area, but it was
just so
wind was whipping there.
And it's pretty funny how Cook just like all scattered along the East Coast. There's like things that are named Mount Cook, Mount Cook this, and Cooktown where he fixed his boat is obviously he's like, I'm just gonna name it Cooktown after myself. And then the river that comes out of Cooktown he named after his boat, the Endeavor River. So he was a real humble guy.
Yep. And we went to Finch Bay too there, which was gorgeous.
Yeah, the beaches are just so nice. It's really terrible that you can't swim or do anything like that at these places.
Yeah, they all say, warning, crocodiles in water can cause death.
So, marine stingers.
Yeah, infestation.
Infestation of marine stingers.
Anyways, at least we get to look at these gorgeous beaches.
Yeah.
And that night the night before we went to Finch Bay, we stayed at
the Endeavor River. What is it? We have the thing right here. The Endeavor River Escape.
Yeah, it was a luxury bush camping, and it was so much fun.
Oh, it was like exactly what we want in a bush camp, because like we only used like caravan parks for their showers. Like caravan parks are meant for like caravanners who can sit there for weeks at a time
and make friends.
Yeah, we use them just for like a safe place to sleep that has a shower. Sometimes we use the camp kitchen.
And we could wash dishes there usually.
Yeah, exactly.
But, yeah, we don't really need it. I've gotten very much used to not charging my phone overnight and just trying to get a little bit of charge during the day. So a bush camp, to me, is perfect as long as it's like a nicer one. These bathrooms are great.
The bathrooms are a little bit interesting, though. So when we were walking towards them, this is like a super remote spot, and I see like this water tank or like some sort of tank right outside the bathrooms with a raging fire underneath it. And I was like, oh, no way that they're heating their water by fire. And that's exactly what they were doing. They had a solar heater on the roof, but it was super overcast, so they had the fire raging, and my first shower was piping hot.
Yeah, wait, let's explain this bush camp again. So it wasn't just a camp, it was someone's farm.
True, yeah.
And this lady welcomed us at the front porch of her farmhouse, hopped on her ATV with her old farm dog. The dog was just riding on the ATV, on the back. And then we followed her to our spot.
Perusing through paddocks of cows and horses.
Yeah, it was so gorgeous. And then we got to our spot, and so bless you.
Thanks. Sorry, guys.
So, anyways, I got distracted. God bless you, Kory. We were checking out the bathroom and the camp kitchen, and this man named Neil comes over to us.
Oh yeah, and he as soon as he comes up, he wants to talk. He wants to chit chat, and
he gave us a crystal that said, "Thank you for staying with
such
Endeavor
a nice guy, yeah.
River Escape," and it had a crystal that said, and below the crystal on the paper it said, "Safe travels."
Yes, so thank you so much, Neil, for the crystal, and he was also the keeper of the fire.
Neil, the keeper of the flame.
He was a volunteer that stays long term at the bush camp there and make sure everyone has hot water for the showers and stuff. So it was pretty neat how they had a fire lit, fire heated water heater. I've never seen that before. But
yeah, it was so cool, and it was burning hot.
Yeah.
Even when it was just smoldering in the morning,
it was still
the
super
water
hot.
was so hot. And so Kory and I took a walk around the camp.
Yeah, we checked out the Endeavor River, or a creek that came out of it. We did a couple just strolling. It was a beautiful walking path around, and we wanted to see the cows and the horses there.
The cows were so cute. I think they were mostly babies because they were so wrinkly, their skin.
Oh, they were adorable cows.
And one kept licking us. And it licked my phone.
Oh, Maxie got a great video of this cow. She'll have to put it in the Instagram. But the cow's tongue felt like a piece of sandpaper or something. Most of the cows were afraid of us, but that one cow really liked us.
Yeah, I think because we didn't have food in our hands.
Yeah, they didn't really want to be pet, though.
Yeah, because we didn't have food.
Because we didn't have food.
Then we wandered over to the horses, and the farm owner let us into the pen with all these other little kids and their mom.
They were petting and cleaning the horses while they ate.
So we got to join in. And then they rode off on the ATV. She dropped them all back at their campsites on her ATV, and Kory and I went to the bull pen.
Oh, there was one massive, massive bull.
He was 2 years old.
Yeah, it was the biggest cow I've ever seen. It was so huge.
And then there was a 1-year-old bull.
The 1-year-old was a little, smaller, and
but he's still really big.
Yeah, still really big, and we were just hanging out watching the cows for a while, and I don't know if the cow liked me.
That's BS. If anyone knows what BS stands for, Kory could teach you a lot about it.
Yeah, so,
Should I tell the story?
Yeah, you could tell the
story.
So
I was trying to get the cows to come over so I could pet it. And Kory had a red hat on, mind you.
I had the Lenny's hat. I had to represent.
I don't think bulls like the color red. But this bull was just facing Kory, like, his bum was far, like, the exact opposite away from Kory, like 5 feet away from the fence, because his head was near the fence, and he just starts
pooping,
and it was just splattering on Kory.
It didn't splatter on me. It got one little splatter of the cow poop got on my foot.
The bull S-H-I-T.
Yes, so that is actual. Yeah, that's.
I couldn't breathe. I was laughing so hard.
Oh, it was traumatic. It was hard. But I think it's like when a bird poops on you, it's like good luck. So I think when a bull poops on you, it's even better luck. At least that's what I thought of it.
Yeah, just the funniest part was how far away he was pooping, and the splatter went so far to land on your foot.
Yeah, it was actually ridiculous how far the thing splattered. I'm still mad at that cow.
I thought Kory was joking when he said, "It got me." That's how far he was.
Yeah, it was a bit ridiculous. I don't like that cow.
And then before we headed out the next day, we're washing dishes, and this random couple came up to us and started talking, and they were just
they were just
low
chatting.
vibes.
They were chatting with us, and they asked an interesting question. Like, a lot of people usually ask, "Oh, what's your favorite spot so far?" Like, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? But they asked a good question. They said, what surprised you?
Yeah. And
And
so
I
Kory
took, we took a moment to think about it. We were like,
and we both kind of came to the same exact thing, and it was how remote the outback is. Like
well,
how
not even just the outback, how remote. If you go outside of any city, we said, it's just nothing. There's nothing out there.
Yep.
And that was our answer we gave them. And what did she say
She
that?
was like, "Well, you've ought to expect that." No? And basically, excuse me, lady, we're from America where every town has everything. The town I grew up in has about 6 Dunkin' Donuts. So,
Yeah.
no, I didn't expect that.
And if you go outside of that town, there's still stuff like in Durham and like anywhere, like there's, I don't know, there's things that are around, not like here. You go
From
and
one town, you're just straight in the bush as soon as you leave until you get to the next town.
yeah, and you drive for 5 hours, 8 hours sometimes, and there's nothing in between, like just vast distances of nothingness.
Yeah.
Like I think that is like it's surprising, yeah. But she wasn't taking that as a good answer from us.
Nah.
Yeah,
They were a little odd.
they were a bit odd.
Um,
Oh, and then we went back into Cooktown to explore it a little bit more and to check out the historical center to see if we can learn more about the history. And usually I like going into historical centers when they're free.
yeah, so there was a museum in town and there was a historical center.
Yeah, and I
So
was
we
like,
chose the historical center because we were like, oh, I don't feel like spending hours at a museum. Maybe we can go to like the free town history building.
yeah, we walk in, it's a super intimate setting, and there's a little lady sitting there who's like a librarian, and I see right there, oh, adults $8 a person. And I was like, we're already in here.
Yeah, it would have been awkward to walk out because it was, like Kory said, an intimate
Yeah.
setting.
And then the lady was like the king of the whisperers, or like she was what is a
A
Seinfeld?
soft talker.
Yeah, she was an ultimate soft talker.
Yep.
She like thought her job was librarian. That's how soft talking she was.
Yeah, and she was very passionate about the history.
Yeah.
And then when we were leaving on our way out, we were like, okay, thank you so much. Bye. And she started giggling.
Yeah.
She was like, okay, bye.
And we were talking like, why do people
We
do
actually
that?
have encountered so many people who have done this in the last 7 months.
Like, why are you laughing? I didn't say anything funny.
It's just so strange. Like, it's happened to us way too many times to not acknowledge it.
I know. Is it like because we have a funny accent that doesn't sound like you,
Yeah, is
or is
that
it
it?
like, are you laughing because we thanked you and you didn't really do anything, or like I don't know, like.
Or are you laughing because you can't do awkward silences? But she
Yeah.
likes to be quiet, clearly.
Yeah, true.
Anyways,
I don't know. There's too many people that do that. Just don't laugh. Just say, "Oh yeah, no problem."
it's usually an older person too.
Yeah,
They're
say.
like, yeah, like a mother age or older.
Yeah, I think I'm getting tired of old people, guys. To be honest, like there's not enough young travelers around here.
We've made friends with all the young travelers we've met, and
Yeah,
there's not enough.
There's not enough because everyone else is just older and retired. But I guess that just tells you that most people do this when they're older and retired. But with the people we have met, we've really liked them who have been around our age.
Yeah, I just wish that they could be traveling with us at the same pace.
Yeah, it's too bad that some people like skip out and like we haven't really found anyone who's traveling the same place at the same time as us.
Yeah, we usually like meet them for one night or like
But
a
maybe tonight's
region.
the night at this campsite.
Maybe. So yeah, now we are heading up Cape York to the tip.
Yes, so the northernmost point of Australia is our goal, and hello, dirt roads. That's all I gotta say.
Well, sealed and then unsealed and then sealed and then unsealed.
Oh, the
It's
roads.
not as bad. So far, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, but I'm not really doing most of the driving.
Today was a little bad getting to Chili Beach. So we're at this campsite called Chili Beach. It's named Chili Beach because Captain Cook stopped here and made a bowl of chili and then left. Just kidding. That's not why it's named. I have no idea why it's named Chili Beach.
It's funny because we were going to make chili tonight.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, it was an out and back from the other road.
Yeah, but it's called the Peninsula Development Road, and then it goes into the Telegraph Road. And the Peninsula Development Road has been really good. High quality unsealed, quality sealed. And we found a cool campsite last night too. We forgot to mention.
Oh yeah, it was a free camp. We were the only ones there. Lots of bats flying above us.
So many bats. Like,
not the same kind of bats in the U.S. though.
Big bats. Like, they're like...
They look like the bat signal when you look into the sky and you see like the wings with all the pointy tips on the bat signal.
That's exactly what it looks
like. That was what was flying above us. But...
and there's hundreds, thousands.
You don't have to be afraid of them down here with like rabies or biting you.
Yeah, they're not that bad. But I mean, the closer we get to like Indonesia and stuff, maybe we should get worried.
No.
No.
So, anyways, we slept near a river.
Yeah, I checked out the river and Maxi was like, don't go near the river.
Well, we got to our campsite pretty late. Like, the sun was almost down, and Kory was like, I'm going to go down to this river.
And Max is like, if you get eaten, I'm not gonna talk to you again.
Well, literally. But then Kory pulls up Wiki Camps, which is where he finds all like everyone in Australia uses this app to find their campsites. And there was a photo. He said that no one had put a photo on in over a year, but there was a photo from 2022. And it was a dead crocodile on the side.
Right on the side of the river bank, yeah.
So that's why I said be careful.
Yeah, maybe it was a warning sign for other crocs to stay out. But it was a good campsite. Oh, loved the fire I had going last night.
Kory's
the night
been a legend building these fires at our campsite.
There's nothing better than sitting outside with a fire going, because there's nothing else to do with no service. So you're either just going to go up into bed and read, or you could just make a fire and stare at the fire and sit there. So I like sitting there and staring at a fire. But the night before, the fire was terrible. All the wood was wet and it was no good.
No, it was a really good fire though.
Not in my standards.
From a non-expert opinion.
But last night the fire only had like 5 sticks and one really big log. And a couple other bigger sticks that I had foraged around. There really wasn't much to work with, and it was a phenomenal fire. It was still going in the morning.
Yeah.
It was still smoke. Like the big log was. I could have started the fire right back up, but we had to go, so I put it out.
So Kory's a legend. Thanks, mate.
Yeah, and tonight Chili Beach, and we're gonna have chili on Chili Beach.
Yes, and it's really, really very pretty here.
Yeah, it's still windy, but it's not as bad, and it was a little rainy coming through here, and
well, we had to drive through kind of a rainforest here.
Yeah.
But now it's not rainy at the beach, but it does have a weird smell.
And why do they say it has a weird smell?
At like this little info stand near the beach, it says that coral spawning smells bad.
Yes, so don't worry, the coral reefs are growing here because the spawning will help the coral reefs grow.
Yeah, so it smells kind of like sulfur, kind of like fishy though.
Yeah, and we walked a little bit on the beach and there was like pink pools and stuff, and they're like, how to tell if it's an oil spill or algae or coral bloom.
Yeah, so puddles of pink and purple and blue on the sand, on the white sand. Very interesting. We'll post pictures.
Yes, and I think that's all we have for you guys this week. I think we covered stuff pretty quick.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Was it quick?
I don't know. It's been probably 30, 40 minutes. 45 minutes? Yeah.
No, I think that's it.
Well, thank you guys so much for listening. Next episode, we should have been up to the tip and back down, almost back to civilization by now.
Yeah, hopefully I'll get service soon.
Yes, so, yeah, hopefully you'll hear this soon. I don't know. Might be a couple days before we release it.
Exactly. Well, have a good day.
Have a good day.